Yeah, Courtney, just y'all played 2 weekends now. You get to come home. Just what's the excitement level right now to get to come play at home?
Well, I mean, we love playing at home. We have one of the best stadiums with one of the best fields. And Austin does such a great job with some of the best fans in the country. And so I'm really excited to play at home this weekend. I'm excited that we're home for 3 weeks in a row, 3 weekends in a row. And I'm even more excited that I feel like we're closer to who we're going to be and playing more to our level for our fans. I'm really looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, from just kind of what I saw from this past weekend, it seemed like y'all started to kind of find some identity there late in the week, especially with some of those just gutty wins. What'd you like from, I guess, the perspective of starting to maybe click some?
Yeah, I just felt like we've done a really great job defensively and in the circle of giving us a chance. And I think we have so many tools offensively, but I don't think we have fired from 1 through 9, and just really felt we have the ability to just really feel us, make the other team really feel us. And I don't think that we've done that consistently. And so I think that Saturday, Sunday, I think we definitely took a huge step in the right direction of just being really gutsy, and just being really intentional with how we're approaching each pitch. And so we're not there yet. But I definitely like the steps we've taken, and I definitely feel like we're on the right path.
Yeah, and then last thing I got for right now is just what do you know about the teams that are coming here?
Well, they're really strong. We are playing them for a reason. And I think that more than anything, we're not getting caught up in their record because of the competition they're playing and the closeness of their games. And especially when it comes to like an Illinois State, they're just always really solid. They've played a really tough schedule, and they've been in a lot of one-run games with really big teams. And then UTA has just a lot of balance. And then Wichita State, we always have great battles with Wichita State. They swing it really well, they pitch it well. And so, it's another non-con weekend where we're going to be challenged. And when you're getting ready for that much, it's just making sure you're doing what you do really well. And so just continuing to build off of what we did last weekend going into this weekend.
Dudley?
Coach, talk to me a little bit about winning those last two, especially taking the second from Arizona, and how that probably made the flight back home better, and made, just the mentality going into this week better.
Well, I think that when you're working so hard at something and you are grinding and you just want to feel the progress, I think for us, we have a really good big picture, like grasp of the big picture, but for our student athletes, sometimes they don't have that as much. And so you just want to see them feel that success and that progress, and where it's all paying off. And I think that that's where what we felt on Saturday, what we felt of like the response from Friday, and how we played, how we responded, how we answered on Saturday, how we competed, how we finished. A lot of those things, I think that that's more than anything of what that felt like Saturday and Sunday. I thought that especially when you're on the road in such an explosive environment, it was just really nice to see us limit a very dynamic offense, and not give away more. Finish, closing the door when they have the 9-1-2, which had kind of been a thorn in our side coming up. I just think there were so many positives to take away from the response from Friday and how we competed Saturday. And I think that we've continued to build off that in practice this week. So we're ready to go this weekend.
Also, you mentioned, and maybe not firing 1 through 9, but each of the 9, and really, the other ones that have gotten into games, have each had their moments. Talk about how knowing that potential is there, and kind of, again, looking forward to when it all comes together.
Well, I think that's the big thing is knowing the potential, knowing what this lineup could be, different ones stepping up in big moments. I think that that's what we feel is like we're not firing and we're finding a way. And so we know that our best softball's still out ahead of us, and still we're finding a way to get the job done. And so I think that's the confidence builder, is just knowing that we have all the tools. We know that some have stepped up, and when we all start to fire together, it's going to be a really dynamic lineup.
Then last one for me, the pitching just has really been good, especially last weekend.
Yeah, I was really proud of how they competed this last weekend in a launching pad per se. It's an environment where the ball flies, and I just thought that collectively our pitchers and our defense did a really good job of limiting the other offenses. It's definitely an environment where you can get into a ball and it flies out, and when it might be an out here. And so the fact that they limited these offenses, they competed, they gave us a chance. I'm just really proud of them.
I said one last one, but I got one more. Excuse me. You had one, two. I can't remember which inning it was, but you had three that got on it. The ball didn't even leave the infield. They just kind of created havoc, and then y'all were able to score some runs. Y'all been known as the Bogle Bombers and all that, but how cool was it to see just the speed being flashed and putting pressure on defenses?
Yeah, I think that was the first inning of our second Arizona game. And I think that's where you see the balance of this lineup. Reagan and the two Reagans and Nia, I think they created 2 runs just by putting pressure on their defense. And their defense, Arizona's defense, is exceptional. But just creating havoc of getting on base, we did a double steal and just getting in a position to score on Nia's ground ball. I mean, you can just the way they run, they're forcing them to be perfect. And so it's just nice to see so many different tools and just the balance of using speed with the power in manufacturing runs.
Thank you.
Chip?
Hey, Courtney.
Hi.
Can you give me just a little bit more of a scouting report on UT Arlington and Wichita State and kind of what they bring? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think with UTA, I think that, they have 6 righty batters. They have 3 lefties, 2 being slappers. And so they're a team that puts their offense in motion quite a bit. And so they're going to force us to play defense. We pitch to our defense too. So it's going to be a game, a matchup that is it could go, it's built for either. I think we play really great defense. I think our pitchers do a really good job of feeding them and not giving away too much more than they earn. And then their pitching staff that's just solid. And just, I think that they are very balanced on both sides. And then Wichita State, they've always had explosive offenses. They have 3 very, very explosive players. Addie Barnard's one of them, where she, can drop a bunt. She can hit one on the berm. She can steal bases. So she does that all. And they have a mix of pitchers that give very different looks. And so we're going to have to make quick adjustments. We're going to have to play defense, and we're going to have to limit some explosive offenses.
Good deal. Heron came in last week against Arizona, I think maybe in maybe the biggest house fire you could come into with, everybody on base, nobody out, but she pitched exceptionally well, I thought, for the rest of that game. How much did that, lift her confidence going, for that game and then going into the next game that she pitched?
Oh, I think it's a huge confidence boost. It's a tough situation to go into in that first inning, but we've practiced it. She's ready for it. She trusts her stuff. And I think that's where we saw a lot of her hard work pay off, is just the composure and the competitiveness that she had in that moment. And then throughout the 2 games against Arizona, they're an offense that take really big swings. They can put a lot of pressure on you. They are very disciplined. They don't stretch their zones a ton. And so factoring all those things in, I thought she did an exceptional job of just trusting her stuff, trusting her spin, trusting her defense, and just staying so composed and even emotionally. And so I just think there's some really big things ahead for Robin.
You've used 7 pitchers that have at least 7 innings pitched so far. How is that depth going to be for you moving forward, that pitching depth?
For us, I think we've just
Yes.
used 5. and they've all done a really good job. They complement each other really well. They understand their roles, and they embrace that of just kind of like, how can I compete in the moment to set up for the, our team to win a game and set up for the next pitcher to be effective. And so I just think they've bought into what our staff's going to look like, and there's not a lot of ego in that. It's just like, hey, how can we kind of put the other offense at bay, and how can we give us a chance to win? And I've just been really proud of how they've done that so far.
And then last question, you guys have 3 straight, at home. You've made 2 long road trips, but 3 straight, tournaments at home. How nice is that going to be, for you guys to kind of, not have to get on a plane, not, sleep in a, hotel room or whatever? How nice is that going to be for you guys?
Well, it's always nice. It's nice to have the ability to play home so early in the season, and it's nice to be able to play in front of our fans. I think it's a separator for us, an advantage for us. And so, yeah, it's always nice. It's nice to stay in your own bed. It's nice to be in your comfort area. It's also nice to go on the road and have that, experience there. And so I think it's everything just continues to get us prepared for the big picture. And so these next three weeks will be very, very nice and very exciting.
Thank you.
Courtney.
Hey, Courtney, you just talked about a little bit about the experience of going on the road, and you guys like to go on the road early and schedule things that way. How does that help you throughout the rest of the season? I know you have this homestand and then you hit SEC play, but how does going on the road so early prepare your teams for maybe later on in the season?
Well, our non-conference schedule collectively prepares us for the long haul. One, it's just going on the road and maybe being visitors more than we typically would be, not being in our comfort level of like just the field, being on the road in the hotel, not in our own beds, playing, 5 different opponents, 3 different opponents, 4 different opponents, whatever the case may be. It's what a regional could look like. It's going on the road for SEC of just being really comfortable, or getting comfortable quick, in not your everyday. And so it's all collective to getting us ready for postseason.
And then we had Robin in our studio the other day, and she kind of talked about with all the new pieces on the pitching staff, it's kind of weird that they've all gelled so quickly. Have you seen that through these first 2 weekends of just how quickly this team has just gelled together?
Yeah, I have. I think every weekend we grow a little closer. That's also something that comes from being on the road and just being in a more close-knit environment. But I don't know that it's weird per se. I wouldn't say it's weird. I don't know if she was speaking specifically to the staff, the pitching staff or the team, but I definitely feel us coming together as a team. Our staff is just, they've been close. They've understood how much they need each other. And so that's something that's been in the process since the fall. But I think we're seeing it play out, and there's just a really strong bond that they have of them just leaning into each other and counting on each other. It's pretty special.
And I love to see Hannah Gamble get some action over the weekend. I mean, how nice was it to see her kind of look a little bit more like herself? Like she's getting there to that kind of sophomore Hannah Gamble, kind of slowly but surely,
Yeah, I think that we all just want our players to be their most confident version of themselves. And I see that we're taking those steps to get there. And Hannah specifically, I think that she was seeing the ball really well this weekend. And sometimes it didn't fall for her, but it didn't deter her. And that's what this game's all about, is just understanding you're seeing the ball, knowing that the other team's going to get theirs, and just staying the course. And so seeing her just trust herself and have confidence is all a coach wants to see in their players.
Thanks. That's all I have, Courtney. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Meredith. Ethan.
Yeah, just Courtney, real quick. We haven't asked about this, but of course we saw Italia a lot last year. But I think she's only been on the base pads a couple times. Is that just coach's decision, or is she going through some sort of rehab or something?
She's going through some rehab. She had a surgery right before season. And so we're just kind of playing it day by day, waiting for the final word of her being cleared and seeing how she feels. Knowing that we can kind of use her on the base pass a little bit until she gets back to 100%.
Okay, great. And then I have one more. Just I mean, of course, you were a catcher. Kennedy Miller, she had a really good weekend. What did you see maybe that you think kind of elevated her game this past weekend?
Well, I think that we saw some really great at bats from Ken. I think she was 3 for 3 in that second Arizona game. She had some big at bats through the weekend, just feeling more looking and feeling more comfortable there. And then, I mean, we saw her just, especially in that last Omaha game with Morgan, of just working so well with her. She's kind of taking a beating back there with balls in the dirt, with foul balls, and just staying so level and just doing such a great job. I think there's a lot to be said for catchers that instill belief. Their pitchers have a ton of belief in them and trust in them to be able to throw it anywhere and know that they're going to just block it, protect it, do their job. And so I think that we can continue to see her elevate and instill that belief in our pitchers. I think it's huge.
Thanks.
Do we have any final questions for Coach? Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.